With all the chaos happening in Congress, a flood of retirements have happened that are shaking up the 2024 battle for the House of Representatives. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new video, and today it is time that we talk about the chaos that is unfolding in the House of Representatives, because we have seen an unprecedented surge of retirements in the House. And we're not just talking about in deep blue seats or deep red seats, but in some of the most competitive and critical races next year, we're seeing congressmen drop like flies. But funny enough, it's not the Republicans that are doing this, it's the Democrats. And you see who's retiring? Dan Kildee and several others. Listen, there's a lot of positives for the GOP next year. One, a lot of these squish moderates that are in deep red seats, they're all bailing, but from the sounds of it and the looks of it. And number two, it looks like there's a possibility Republicans can gain some of these critical House seats in order to win the House again. You start looking at this and you realize this is good news for the GOP. Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Guys, just for $1 a month, you can join Real American. This is the best way to support the daily content that we all know and love. So I hope and recommend you join the channel today. And like usual, everybody, before I forget, it's that time of year. I hope you have a great Christmas Eve. We're one day away from arguably the best day of the year. So yeah, stay safe, have fun with the family, and all that good stuff. Alright, let's get into it, because I made a video on this, I think a month ago, but I don't think people understand that this is so big that I have to make yet another one, because there's been some more retirements since the last one. So let's just get into it, because this could fundamentally change the House and give Republicans an edge that they badly needed. Members of Congress have headed home for the holidays, and some will come back having decided that they don't want the re-up for more terms in the nation's capital, buffeting an already volatile fight for control of the House of Representatives. Retirement announcements often come after the holidays, as lawmakers discuss their next steps with their families and weigh whether to continue in an increasingly dysfunctional Congress. And that's the big deal. Usually you don't see many retirements until before the holidays. You usually see it after that, because people are going back to their families. They want to discuss, do I really want to run for another term? Do I really want to deal with the BS? And because Democrats need a net gain of just 5 seats to take control of the House in 2024, every seat is going to matter, and the dynamics can shift if a race suddenly becomes an open contest. And that's the big deal. What we saw last year was more of an incumbency wave. That's what happened. Incumbents did a lot better than expected. If it wasn't for that, you look at some of these races, the Democrats would have got it crushed. Incumbency was a big factor last year. Far bigger than 2018, 2020. It was just a very bizarre year last year. But with all these retirements, that's not good. So far, 35 House members, 23 Dems, and 12 Republicans have announced they are retiring or leaving the chamber to run for other offices, according to the House Press Gallery. That's still behind the 49 House members who decided not to run for re-election in the midterms in 2022, a redistricting year. But it's only one shy of the 36 who bailed before the 2020 election, with time to add more to the list. And that's the thing. We're already at 2020 levels before 2020. I know there's filing deadlines and all of that, but let's be real. We're going to see many more retirements we usually do right after the holidays. That's what always happens. We see a couple more here and there. What we're seeing now is just unprecedented. How many we're seeing. And a lot of these aren't for, health reasons. There's health reasons here and there, but a lot of them are just saying, I don't want to deal with it anymore. More Democratic lawmakers in competitive districts have retired, resulting in 7 open seats that the Cook Political Report with Amy Walter rates as in play. 7! That's a big deal. 7 open seats. If Republicans win a majority of them, we just got to look at, who's retiring still. That's a disaster for Dems. They include the seats of Congressman Dan Kildee and Congresswoman Elisa Slotkin of Michigan, a Senate candidate, whose exit comes in a toss-up race. Katie Porter of California, who's running for Senate, and Abigail Spanberger of Virginia, who's running for governor 2025, are also leaving open seats that are considered competitive. And I know Katie Porter's seat's fairly Democrat, but Republicans got a really good recruit there, who nearly beat her last year. And in Abigail Spanberger's seat, if it wasn't for her being incumbent, she probably would have lost last year. You just start looking at this and you realize this is bad news for Dems. Like, really bad. The partisan split, with more vulnerable Democrats retiring, is partly due to the current makeup of the House. Many vulnerable Republicans are first-term lawmakers who are less inclined to leave Congress after they were just elected. Yeah. So that's the net positive of a lot of these first-term lawmakers who, a lot of them suck, but a lot of them are really good. They're not going to retire. The Democrats have a problem where their competitive seats, a lot of them are people that's been there for a long time. And at some point, you just got to get sick of it. Going to the same building every single, day, 10 times a year. I know that's basically how much they work a year, like 10 days a year. Well, I wouldn't want to do that, especially with how chaotic the House is getting. I personally enjoy it, but I probably would not be a fan if I was actually serving, because it would not be fun. I mean, can you imagine being the House of Representatives right now? Not fun. Republicans, including the House's GOP campaign arm, believe Democrat retirements could give them an edge next year. The political blast radius from congressional retirements has almost entirely blown back on House Dems, said Jack Pandel, a spokesperson for the NRCC. These open swing seats are tilting the House battlefield, putting Democrats in defense from coast to coast as their incumbency advantages evaporate into thin air. But Democrats aren't panicking, which I think they're delusional. I think they are absolutely crazy if they're not panicking. I think they are, based on how they've been reacting to some of these retirements, but if they're not panicking at, hey, the people that are the only reason those seats are even Dem, they're gone. Now you're running, Bernie Sanders. In fact, far left, even compared to Bernie Sanders in some of these seats. That's not good. As a reason for the least productive Congress since the Great Depression, it says a lot when House Republicans run for the retirement exits. They're trashing their own party on the way out, said Viet Shelton, a spokesperson for the DCCC. But again, they're in deep red seats. Who freaking cares what they say? Kevin McCarthy? Whoop-de-doo. Republicans are gonna win that seat. Democrats have a big problem. They're running out of candidates in these competitive seats. Ones that are either an incumbent or can actually win. Say what you will about some Republicans, there are some bad recruits out there. The Democrats, oh boy. Not enough people talk about how garbage some of these Dems are. They don't get enough media attention, but man, there are some bad ones. Not just, it's just they're left or whatever. It's like, no, they're far left lunatics that get absolutely crushed, but nobody talks about them because Gerald Majewski get lied about his military service, but that's a big story. It's a scam. A lot of these Democrats, they suck electorally, but they're overshadowed by the 3 Republicans that underperformed in their competitive seats last year. All right, that's what this is about. Not enough people talk about how bad Dems are at recruiting new candidates. There's some decent ones like Perez and the lady from Alaska, but outside of that, you look at some of their recruits last year, yeesh, not good. Not good at all. Still, losing incumbents does shift the dynamics in those competitive House races. Incumbents often start with advantages in name recognition fundraising, while open seats can lead to divisive and costly primaries, which Democrats have barely had for 10 years now because, let's face it, they haven't needed a primary because they're so united, and really, they had incumbents there, so why would you need a primary? But a lot of these seats, there's going to be some dogfight primaries coming up. You got a lot of progressives running, the neoliberals. It's going to be a mess, and I'm going to enjoy every second of it. House Democrats' fundraising advantages, especially, have boosted the party in recent election cycles, as they swamp their GOP opponents with cash. And some of those top fundraisers are opting to run for higher office next year, including Porter, who spent $28.8 million in her House race last year. She defeated Republican Scott Baugh, who spent $3.1 million by 3 points, in a Biden plus 11 seat, by the way. I mean, if Scott Baugh got any kind of help, real help, from the national GOP, he could have won. He could have beaten Katie Porter despite that spending advantage. I mean, that's why Democrats are worried about that seat now. I mean, he only lost by 3, and now he's going against a bunch of nut jobs? That's why Republicans, they have a much better shot of winning the House than expected. They just do. I'm not saying they will, but you just start looking at this and yeah, the Democrats' top fundraisers are leaving. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. Again, I'm not saying the Republicans are going to gain the House automatically, but you start looking more into it, it's just a bad sign for Dems when their top fundraisers in competitive seats, they're all bailing left and right. They're either running for the Senate, and in Katie Porter's seat, she's probably going to, she's probably going to lose the primary. There's a possibility. But either way, it's a mess. If you guys did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys in the next video, stream, or whatever. Godspeed to all of you.